Welcome to Shootin' the Sport, where I sit down with your favorite coaches, athletes, and people in the industry to shoot the, you know. I'm Matison Little, and today's guest is one of the most interesting guests to date. Roxy Barahman plays professional basketball internationally. She has lived in multiple countries, played for multiple teams, all in pursuit of playing basketball at the highest level. We talk about life adjusting to different cultures, the growth of women's basketball, and how the stops along her journey have impacted her and even her family. Roxy Barahman, welcome to Shootin' the Sport.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited. First off, I really just have to tell you that looking into you as an individual, like, you're just really cool, and I'm super excited.
Thanks, Madison. I appreciate it.
So you're currently in California, but you just told me that you just got back from a pro 3v3 tournament. You're getting ready to go to China. What is happening in Roxy's life right now in terms of basketball?
Yeah, I just got invited to a pro women's 3v3 league that's happening in the US. It's called 3XPA. It was so cool. They were working in conjunction with Hoop Fest to have it up in Spokane, Washington. My team came in third at the tournament. It was awesome, though. It was such a great experience playing with other professionals, pros from Europe, and also some rookies out of college. And yeah, I'm about to head out to Asia Cup in China, which Team Iran will be playing. I play for Team Iran, so I will be joining them out there to go play for the national team.
So you're kind of all over, and you've been all over in your basketball career. Why do you continue to chase this dream that you have to play professional basketball?
That's a great question. I started out not knowing that I wanted to play professional women's basketball. I didn't even actually dream that could be a possibility until I kind of met my trainer, AJ Moye, IU hoops. He went to Indiana University, also played professionally overseas. He trained me starting from when I was a sophomore in high school, and he kind of told me, "Hey, you should keep playing. You could do it." And he showed me the ropes, and I was like, you know what? COVID kind of ended my college career, and I was like, I'm not done with it. I want to keep playing. So now I'm just trying to play at the highest level I can. I'm trying to reach the goals of maybe being in the WNBA or also being on a EuroLeague team. But this past season, I just finished in China, and they have an amazing league for women's basketball out there as well. So just trying to play where I can excel at personally.
I can imagine that during this journey, when you tell people what your end goal is, some people might, kind of like shrug it off or look at you like you're a little crazy, just because to the average person that is such a crazy dream. What do you say to people that kind of doubt you along your journey, or how do you kind of silence them?
You just keep doing your thing. I've played for coaches that didn't like my style of game. I've had teams where I didn't feel like I fit, but you get into those moments and you realize that you're still an amazing player and you can do what you want to achieve. It just might not be the best situation for you, but I've tried to put myself in positions where I am going to exceed and excel and be the best I can be, and it's just having confidence in your game and having confidence in your abilities that really just puts you at the top and ahead of others.
Well, you're crushing it. I love seeing all the success on social media and things like that. But I want to take a step back to your college career. You played at Yale and graduated, like you said, right in that COVID time, 2020. Things were so uncertain. When did you make that decision in your mind, like, okay, I'm not going to pursue this traditional 9 to 5 job. I want to play basketball. When did that click?
Yeah, I actually was doing biology all of college. I really enjoyed medicine, and I thought maybe I'd go into it. But as 2020 ended my college career, I I was speaking more and more with my assistant coach at Yale, Melissa D'Amico, and she played professionally. She played at Notre Dame basketball, and she told me, "Hey, you can also keep going and playing professionally. Like, you can make a living out of this." And she put me in contact with her agent, her European agent back in the day, and he's still an agent. And he got me well connected and got me out to get my first professional job in Greece.
And when you get to Greece, what is your first impression of life as a professional athlete? I imagine it's a culture shock, it's a lifestyle shock, just being so far away from family. What was going through your head, and how did you adjust to it all so quickly?
Yeah, I mean, I had been to Athens, Greece once before with family on a vacation, and I was like, wow, it would be amazing to live in the city. I mean, I love Greek food, I love the beach, and it had everything there. And when the team approached me, I thought to myself, this is an opportunity I can't pass up. And the adjustment was real. It was real. The time difference, just be able to talk to family. I did have another teammate who was from actually Canada, but it was nice to have another foreigner, along with me on the team. But getting used to the lifting schedule, getting used to the practice schedule, it was all so different from college. And I would say it was even kind of a step down from the rigorous practice and schedules that we would have at Yale University. But it was it was still intense. It was just maybe not as many hours in the day, which I found interesting.
I always heard too from just athletes I've come across in my career is that the game overseas is just more technical, maybe less physical. Was there an adjustment in terms of like style of play that you had to adjust to?
Yeah, it is different. It does depend on maybe the coach in the league, but the style of play I'd say is definitely more kind of tactical. Definitely, if anything, it there was coaches that kind of let me just play and let me, be myself, which was awesome, especially in that first year in Greece, just to go out there and be like the kind of scorer that I am. I'm a two-way combo guard, so it was really a unique experience. But I'd say definitely is just it was an adjustment because of the play style and how kind of fast paced it is as well.
So you went from Greece to Puerto Rico to Mexico, then France. Now you're in China. Bouncing from all these different cultures and moving from country to country, what was that like, and how do you feel like you've grown as a person just being around all these different types of people?
Yeah, well, I love experiencing the different foods in every culture and just experiencing like travel as well is an amazing experience. And I love to be in any country, but what I really learned about myself is that, I just need good food and somewhere to explore. So all these places kind of offered that, and getting to know my teammates also helped me, have some local experience, have some they would show me around, show me the good spots, take me to places, and I found that to be really a really unique experience, and I love it. But it can be quick relationships. Maybe you're on a team just for a few months. The Puerto Rico and Mexico leagues actually are only 3 months. France is 9 months. So you build different relationships everywhere you go, but it is an amazing experience.
Do you keep in contact with people from all your previous teams?
Yeah, I've kept in contact with a lot of the pros I've been hooping with along the way, and some of them we're still friends, and some of us got to play together in the 3XBA tournament that was here in the U.S. So it's like wherever I go, it's like we're all kind of bouncing around all these countries. So yeah.
Which country had the best food, in your opinion?
Ooh, that is a tough one. I will say that I really enjoyed Greece. I've said that because I'm a little bit Mediterranean. I have that background. I love Greek food, but China was really interesting. I will say I tried a lot of things there that I might not try again, but just to be able to say that I tried something, I'll say I tried pig brain, I tried frog, I tried. I don't even want to relive it, but it was unique. It was unique to say the least, and I felt as though I had to try it to experience the culture at least once. So we'll see if I eat that again when I go back.
Is there a place that you visited along this journey so far that you're like, I would live there again?
I would live in Puerto Rico again. I actually did get hit by a Category 1 hurricane in the beginning, so that wasn't too great. It was actually quite a culture shock to see that Puerto Rico does not have the kind of infrastructure, obviously, that the United States has, nor do we really help them a lot. But it was so beautiful after the hurricane had passed and everything, just to be on the beach every day in the fall. The weather is incredible. I would definitely try and live there if I couldn't live in Greece, which I would also go back and play there as well if I could.
That brings up like a good point. Being in these different countries, obviously you grew up in the United States, and going to see how other countries live and just kind of operate differently than home for you. How did that kind of impact you and just like your perspective on everything?
Yeah, every culture I've experienced has been so different, and it's kind of like you kind of have to just immerse yourself in it and go with it. And in China, especially, it was there were so many people. I mean, you know that China like has like a billion of people, but you go there and the cities are packed, the streets are packed. Just crossing the street is like crazy. So it's a culture shock for sure. I think just the vast difference. I lived in actually some small villages as well as some big cities. So I lived in Athens, but in France, I was actually in two small villages, and just to get to know the little town, the local boulangerie, just to get to know people, it was actually a much more intimate experience than being like in Athens, a big city. So everywhere has been kind of so different, I'd say.
That's crazy. Me being from South Florida, haven't ever lived out of Florida until this past year. I couldn't even imagine, but I'm jealous a little bit because it seems amazing at the same time.
Yeah, you have to be willing to like want to adapt and change and be willing to immerse yourself in different cultures for sure.
Right. So you mentioned that you're heading back to China soon. I know that you played or are playing with Team China, but you're also part of your national team, which is Team Iran. How does all of that work in terms of having your national breaks, and just give us like a synopsis of the international basketball season for people that don't understand?
Right. So depending on the country, European seasons run usually typically August to let's say April or May, and then there's also the Chinese season, which actually runs um, not the same time as the WNBA. The WNBA will finish around October, November. The Chinese season runs December to April. So a lot of these leagues kind of just run for their own kind of respective time periods, but in all these months, there's different national team qualifier dates. There's always a date for European national teams in November and in February to qualify for their national team tournaments like the World Cup and other things, even the Olympics. For Iran specifically, the Asian countries, we had this kind of break, this window in middle of July, which is our tournament. But then there's also the African nations. AfroBasket plays the first week of August. So it's like every kind of region has their own dates and own specific time periods where they'll play. So I play for the national team, but I also play and I'm trying to get another contract in the WCBA, which is the Chinese Women's League. But if I do have to call and report to the national team, we'll have to negotiate that in advance. Like, can I leave and go to play for my national team?
Yeah, which I think it's great that I know you have family ties to Iran. And when it was announced in, I think, April that you were going to be joining Team Iran, what was that like for your family, and what did that mean to you to be able to play for the country that your family is from?
Yeah, it's a country that I haven't been to since I was 5, 6 years old. My mom took me when I was really young, and everything there had changed in 1979 for my parents, which is why they moved to America for better opportunities for me and my brother at the time. Now my sister as well. But I really wanted to kind of represent a nation and a culture that I'm so connected with, and my whole family. I have family still in Tehran. They were so proud of me, and my mom especially was super proud. But both my parents were so excited, like for me to put on that jersey, and what it meant to them was a lot.
When you picked up the phone to call them to tell them that you got that opportunity, what was their reaction?
They were super excited for me. They were super excited, but also a little nervous because they were like, "Are you going to Iran?" And the times are now are very difficult. Of course, it's a really sad situation right now, but it's not necessarily the safest country to be in. And I told them, you know what, I'm just going to meet the team at the tournaments and practice with them ahead of the tournaments in other countries. And this was the reality of the situation was that it's not necessarily safe for me to be there right now, but hopefully one day in the future, I'm really hoping I can go back to the country and visit, and hoping I can go with my whole family one day. It would be awesome. But yeah, they still were still super happy that I'm representing the nation for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. And just the fact that a place that they had to, like you said, leave and come here, you kind of get to bring it all full circle and go, not go back right now, but represent them. That
Yeah,
that's amazing.
just to represent all of those women, the women that are fighting in Iran, the women that are currently on the team playing basketball are such an amazing, talented group of women. And just to show that women's basketball, you can be very talented, and this is a serious profession that women can go into, is to really an awesome experience to be able to kind of show that and represent that in Iran.
And part of being on that team is you do have to play in your hijab. How does that kind of impact you as someone that's not part of your daily life, but being able to wear those garments and represent those women, like you were saying? What does that kind of mean or symbolize?
Right. It's definitely a change. I'm not used to hooping in anything at all, really. Just my headband and maybe some knee pads. But to be fully covered, to have the hijab, it's a little bit restricting. But of course, it's out of respect for the country. That's how the situation is right now. That's what the rules are, and I'm gonna respect the rules. But it does mean a lot to just be alongside those women who have to deal with that every single day. You know, I'm blessed to be in America and not actually be forced to wear a hijab every single day, but it does for me. It's like the reverse kind of woman life freedom. It's like I'm putting on the hijab, but to support those women who are trying to take off the hijab in reality. So I just want to shine a broader light on women's basketball in the Middle East.
And how do you think you could use your platform as a professional athlete to do that and bring, light to that, being from the United States and having like a community here that may not even acknowledge that?
Yeah, I've gotten actually a lot of support from Iranians living in America. They're saying a lot of great things, me joining the team, helping them out. There's also a lot of people maybe inside Iran that are like, why are you joining the team? You know, what you can play elsewhere. But I really wanted to do it, like I said, from not only to represent my family coming from there, but also to, help these women get to a higher level, get to a higher seeding, to qualify hopefully for Division A of Asia Cup in this upcoming tournament. And just to support those women who worked so hard and to show them that this is a legitimate career for women.
So you talk about qualifying. I know Team Iran did something, kind of, I would say maybe borderline historic for them this season. You guys qualified for the Division B FIBA Cup. What was that experience like, just to be kind of part of this team that has done something that they haven't done in forever?
It was awesome just to celebrate at that tournament. We were in Amman, Jordan, and we had to win two games, two tough games against two great countries, Jordan and Syria. It was my first time playing with the team, but they were so welcoming, so sweet, so incredible. It was like honestly like my long lost sisters in Iran. Like in another life, we could have all been at the same high school, been at the same college. But it was just a remarkable feeling, and to see how excited they were to be able to go now play in another tournament and to be able to, let's say, escape the harsh times right now. It really meant a lot to them, and it meant a lot to me to be able to, kind of take them nowhere to somewhere where they haven't been before.
So you guys will now get to play in that FIBA Cup for a chance to qualify for Division A, and then from there you would kind of climb your way to the end goal of the Olympics. Is that kind of where that goes?
That would be awesome. The maybe next step would be like the World Cup qualifiers, and then
Okay.
after the World Cup, it would hopefully be 2028 Olympics in LA. That would be insane if we could get Iran there on the map, and yeah, it would be really cool.
It would be really cool, especially since your family is in California.
Yeah, I mean, we're all in LA, so that would be insane just to have that support. So definitely aim for that, but one thing at a time. We gotta
Right.
win this Asia Cup Division B first.
Right. We talked about a little bit earlier. Basketball for women's basketball has now kind of in the last couple of years, I think, grown a little bit in terms of viewership, in terms of opportunity. And I know that it's nothing compared to what the NBA is, but WNBA is growing, and that's, of course, potentially the end goal. What does the growth of women's basketball look like from the inside?
Yeah, I don't know if you just saw, but the WNBA even announced three more expansion teams, and I'm super excited that the league itself is expanding. There's just not enough roster spots for all the talented women that come out of college. Most of us are having to go play in Europe, China, Mexico. So for that opportunity to have a roster spot to be able to play in the United States is huge, and I just see that the viewership is increasing every day, and it's incredible to see kind of what the new generation has done, what Caitlin Clark has done for the game, and I hope to see that the viewership continues to rise because it women's basketball deserves that kind of support, and I hope one day we can say we're getting towards NBA, but for now it's just like one step at a time. Let's add more teams, let's put it on more networks, let's expand and be on more platforms, and that's something super exciting. This 3XBA tournament that I was just in was on Whoopi Goldberg's new all-women sports network, AWSN. And that was super cool to see because it's a new thing, but she's trying to grow women's sports, and women's sport. Now is the time to be in women's sports for sure.
Right. And how do people not in the position of an athlete help in growing women's sports? What do you think that the common folk can do to kind of keep increasing and growing just the outreach that women's sports is making right now?
Yeah, I mean, but besides tuning in, if it's on local television, like go to a game. Like most of my friends say, I've had the most fun I've ever had at a women's basketball game. Like my friends out in Brooklyn went to go support the New York Liberty, and they love the team, love the atmosphere. The atmosphere is different. It's very different than men's basketball, and it's a great thing to be a part of. So I feel like you should just go to a game.
I have to say that I last season or for the past couple of seasons I've got to be sidelined for both men's and women's basketball, and there's just something so special about watching women's basketball and being part of it. It's so fun. I think that it's more like we were saying earlier, more tactical, more technical. It's fun to be a part of, and I'm excited for the growth of it all. And hopefully one day we'll see Roxy over here, and it'll be so full circle, and it'll be so fun.
That would be awesome. That's the goal.
So I want to ask you just a couple rapid fire, non basketball related, maybe some basketball related questions.
Okay, let's do it.
So what are you doing on an off day, not
What
playing
am I doing on an
basketball?
off day? I'm
Yeah.
trying to tan. If it's the summer, if it's the winter, I'm trying to go on a hike. Those are the two things.
Who do you spend most of your off time with?
My boyfriend, yeah,
Shout out Jesse O.
shout out Jessica.
When you are playing basketball, I know you said earlier you're a headband girl. Are there any other things that you have to have on your person at all times while playing?
I do the knee pads as well. My knees look so banged up, so it's just, I mean, they kind of help. I mean, there's still lots of bruises, but I gotta be headband and knee pads.
Pre-game rituals?
I always have a coffee. I have to have a coffee,
Okay.
preferably an iced mocha latte, and
Okay.
it has to be 2 hours before game time, so I can get my body feeling right before the game.
Love it. What is your pregame song, like your pregame hype song?
Ooh, that's got to be Rich Flex, Drake, and 21 Savage,
Okay.
because my
Love
number is
it.
actually number 21. I in almost every country I've played in, I've been number 21, and so that just gets me going.
What does 21 mean? Why is that number so significant?
I actually picked 21. I was 21 when I was a kid growing up, and my mom chose the number for me because she loved blackjack, and 21 is just like a lucky number, like lucky number 21. And actually, my trainer, AJ Moye, he's number two, so I wanted to incorporate number two. So I was like, I'll make it my own, 21. Lucky blackjack 21.
I love that. How important is the relationship that you have with your trainer? I know you said he's been with you since sophomore year. How has that kind of propelled you to where you are now?
Yeah, he's believed in me from day one, and just to have somebody that believes in you, surround yourself with people who want to, see you succeed, has been life changing. Has the reason why I'm in playing professional basketball. He's since moved out of LA. He's out in back in Indiana, next to close to where he was up at college, and but we try and see each other often as much as we can, and yeah.
Well, I am definitely rooting for you in all your travels and all of your basketball endeavors that you're on. I know you have a lot going on, and this has been really fun. I really appreciate you, and I'm rooting for you so hard.
Thank you, Madison. Rooting for you too, as always. Thank you for having me.